to the show.
Cough Fit powered, getting to the show.
Welcome to Cough Episode 8, Sad Dad's Club Podcast.
Yeah, you might be able to tell I'm a little under the weather.
Yeah.
A lot under the weather. I'm getting better, though. But,
Made it around the hump.
Holy shit.
The Humpty Dance.
That was nasty.
Here's your chance.
Yeah.
Podcast The Hump.
I didn't think I was going to make it to episode 8, let alone the podcast.
Yeah. I was prepared to roll it just in case, but we would have...
All alone?
It wouldn't have been the same. Yeah,
I
would have just done something really quick. I started to feel guilty that we might have missed, and without notice, like left a gap for people that do subscribe.
Sometimes there's things that just happen.
Yeah. I guess we could have like tweeted something like Happy Holidays, Happy Thanksgiving.
Shit's not coming.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's
one of us
late.
is on the deathbed and the other one's way behind preparations for Turkey Day.
I'm on the path to recovery, but I am still not. Yeah.
You look physically weak. Like it is seriously.
Like I said, I had a
nuts.
5-minute coughing fit just driving over here. That'll make anybody look weak.
You're a podcast warrior.
I'm a soapy
warrior.
soup box hero. Soapbox hero.
Jukebox hero.
Jukebox.
Podcast hero.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call myself that, but yeah, I mean, I haven't left the house since Sunday, and I only left the house to go get some food for me, like soup and stuff.
Wow, that's like how I telecommute.
You don't even leave the house.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You don't leave the house either.
Yeah, and that's weird for me to not leave the house. Normally, I'm an hour away. So anyway, enough of that.
Enough of that.
So we got Thanksgiving this week. It's
we do.
Crazy.
We're gonna call this our first holiday episode, our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah. It feels weird.
That does feel weird.
It's like we just started, and it felt like the end of summer, and now we're already at Thanksgiving.
It's 10 or 8 weeks. 8 weeks, right? 8 episodes, 8 weeks.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I
like that for routine.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's the holidays, you can still get us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify.
Or YouTube.
Which...
And even though it is the holidays, please make sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to make sure you get notifications.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. Spread this around.
Spread it around. I heard the new thing is like you get the Patreons, but I don't know how you would do that.
Oh yeah.
So essentially, you
go sign up,
dole out for Patreons, and
it's basically like you get a paycheck from them.
Yeah, you have subscribers that are essentially sponsoring.
Yeah, we like your content, and let's hear it.
So a lot of the running in ads and stuff like that, which we don't obviously have to do, but
No, we don't have to.
Right, but a lot of people are like, oh, you get your Patreons to pay for the. I'm like, well, one day.
Yeah, that feels like the official way to like quit your job.
Yeah,
to get a Patreon.
I think that's like on the road to permanent content creation as an income.
So then if you use Patreon and then you have people interested in advertising with you, do you have to pick one or the other, or can you do both?
I don't know.
Huh.
Well, the whole thing, I mean, the whole thing's kind of new to me, relative. Like I said, for the most part, I'm just a consumer.
I think I just heard about it last week.
And we've like been blistering on the path. You did most of the headway work on providing, and we just record.
Well, yeah, we had our own separate things to do. I think.
No.
You were equipment guy.
Roadie.
Well,
I'm the podcast roadie.
Yeah, you were the guy getting the stuff that we needed.
I'm a Patreon of my own hobbies.
Right.
Hey.
And I did all the sort of background legwork stuff for the hosting and things like that.
Right.
Things that we had to learn quite a bit about in order to do.
Yes.
Not that difficult to do, but there's a learning curve there.
There is. There was a lot of stuff that, there's a deep dive there, when you want to make sure that you're not getting burned by who you're hosting or, I'm still amazed by the amount of tools available to us through the host that you have us at, that it's like click, and you're disseminated to multiple platforms to get the widest audience possible.
Right. And we haven't even, there's a couple we haven't even gone with yet.
Oh, yeah. And you just tie your accounts to it?
Yeah. Well, they have what they call like destinations.
Mm-hmm.
And that determines what destinations you set up in your host, determines where your podcast gets broadcast to.
That's pretty cool.
And so we don't even have, there's a few on here. Like iHeartRadio, which I think we're eligible for now because we couldn't do it in the first 2 months.
Oh, you've got to hit your certain amount of
time
dedications.
Yeah.
You got to be dedicated to the platform.
Right.
To get burn in.
Yeah. SoundCloud. I mean, there's a few on here that, we would never use WordPress because that's basically, I think, a
blog.
Hosting
isn't it?
thing. Yeah.
Most people are doing their blogs from there.
Yeah,
I guess if you
Blogger.
if you texted it or transcribed it and then put it into a WordPress, that would work.
Yeah.
Tumblr. So part of that, it's like why we announce where we're available every week. So that way we reach the most amount of viewers, or if you know someone that you talk about the podcast, they can reach us in multiple platforms.
Absolutely.
Wherever they get their podcasts.
And then, of course, we just use Gmail.
Right.
Sad Dads Club Podcast at gmail.com. So you can reach us there. And we really like getting email. I get excited. I see an email come in.
Yeah. Got a lot of, like, talking about Disneyland from the last week's episode. You get a lot of, like, I tell you, Disneyland, everyone has an opinion. And it's a lot of the, oh, man. I remember the
nostalgia.
Yeah, because you got the adults that went as kids, and they've got their story, and then the parents and the adults that have gone back since then, and whether they have kids or not, now they're experiencing it in a different perspective, and
right.
A lot of those things, when you get people spun up and talking, or they hear someone else telling their stories, it's like an instant kick to the hornet's nest of the mind.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
And those are always good stories. I don't know of anyone that that has a bad story that doesn't have a funny twist at the end. That's like, it maybe starts out like a bad experience, but in the end, it wasn't totally bad. There's like a funny way to look at it, or at least learn from it, that doesn't make it sting.
The only bad experience you can have at Disneyland is if you
run out of money.
Well, no, because you can still ride everything there without any money. But if you get somehow locked up in the Disneyland jail, which actually could be kind of cool.
Oh.
Or it's the busiest day ever. And I've been to Disneyland when it's been super busy. And it is no longer the happiest place on earth, I will tell you.
Disneyland would go sour for me if they ran out of the cinnamon churros.
I could see that. Yeah.
Still
we had a comment on YouTube. Someone brought up the...
Did we? I totally missed that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of comments on YouTube.
Oh, man, I've got to circle back.
Someone mentioned the old tickets, the A tickets and the E tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Oh, yeah, of course I remember that. But I remember as a kid, my grandfather worked for Rockwell International, and they're, as you know, probably pretty sizable company making rockets, and they built this. He worked on the space shuttle, which is pretty cool. But he would buy discounted tickets through HR. I don't think they called it HR back then, but he would buy discounted tickets through the company, and he would save up the books and just save them up. Like he would buy a one or two a week or whatever, and save the books up. And then it would be like, well, we've got, 35 books saved.
Wow.
We're going. And we would go to Disneyland for the day and have, never have a shortage of tickets.
Wow.
Which was really cool. But back then, that was really cheap to get into the park. And then if you already had the tickets for the rides, then you're not shelling out any extra money.
Yeah.
So really inexpensive way to go.
Hmm.
But then if you ran out of e-tickets, which are all the big ticket rides like Space Mountain, Matterhorn.
That was closed when we were there.
Matterhorn?
Still closed?
I think they're... I'm going to totally blow people's minds when I say I think they're tearing it down. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking. What?
Crap.
I don't know. They're revamping it somehow.
Revamping?
Yeah. But those e-ticket rides were if you had a lot of those, you were riding good stuff.
One of those remembering stories, someone mentioned the gondolas.
Yes, I used to love those.
I mean, oh, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you when those disappeared, but
and
yeah.
it went through the
Matterhorn.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
oh, man, I
right
totally
there at
remember
Tomorrowland over to Fantasyland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was
I
just like
race.
a way to look at the people. It was,
Yeah.
people mover. But then I realized when oh, yeah, that's gone. I can imagine one of the reasons was they've moved to being so like you don't look over here, don't see what's behind the curtain kind of thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That being up that high, you'd see the bowels of what goes on.
I always thought for that ride in particular it was more safety related because they had a couple of accidents with that ride where people got hurt or killed.
Really?
Yeah.
Idiots trying to get out in the Matterhorn?
Or just doing dumb shit and falling out or slipping out or whatever. So I think I don't think it was a curtain thing on that one. I think that one was more of a safety. Like, all right, people are getting, people are starting to get hurt more and more often. So
not worth it to, someone did the graph.
Right.
Idiots versus fun. Uh-oh.
The lawyers and insurance folks got involved and said, no.
Too many. It's not worth the litigations.
Not worth.
Not worth.
Yeah.
So we got a good show, I think. We've got our weekend stuff. We got a couple news stories, and then we'll talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Let's see.
So you were wrecked all weekend.
So last week at work, maybe Thursday, Friday, just kind of felt a little off. Saturday, I woke up achy, a little feverish, and was just not feeling very good. But still kind of stuck it out a little bit. Went some places with the family. Sunday, I woke up and it was full throttle.
You're like done.
Sick.
No, game over.
Yeah, and so they were doing. My in-laws had organized a family trip up to the little oranges.
Mandarins.
The mandarin farms.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell I would have survived doing that. So I stayed home, and then I've been home Sunday, Monday,
the fire.
Tuesday,
that still would have been
today.
Crappy because of the smoke, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I didn't go, but I assume.
No, yeah. Yeah. So has it made its way around the family like most?
No, I'm the only one sick.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's nice.
You've contained it.
And my daughter's home from school, and so her and my wife are up. See you later. And
probably for the best.
And probably.
But like you factor in incubation, you end up with everyone on Thanksgiving like,
yeah,
just bring it to me in the bed.
So even though I had taken PTO days for Tuesday and Wednesday, I ended up having to also take Monday off. But then also the girls had plans, and so I've just been sort of chilling at home, catching up on The Walking Dead.
When did Melly get home?
Last Thursday night.
Oh, so she's been home.
Yeah.
For the bulk of your sickness.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I've done all weekend is just feel like shit. Absolute shit.
Hopefully you're making it around the horn.
Yeah, I feel a lot better this morning. Yesterday was a little rough. This morning felt better.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm coming out of it, but I know I can tell I'm still congested.
Yeah.
Had a gnarly coughing fit, like I said, coming over here.
On the way over here.
So, yeah. So how about you? I mean, other than me just being sick, which is not...
So Saturday I had work. So Saturday I did patching and whatnot for work. Sunday I had one of those days where I think the time change and the sun coming in the window early in the morning, like you can't turn that off once the sun hits your eyes kind of thing. So it was like an early morning for me, and I just woke out of bed like stuff to do. And I nailed like housing project after housing project. Like we knew that there might have been the possibility for rain, so I was out. I did the final mow of the lawn, and I edged it, and then I cleaned the gutters in the front.
You're hired, man. Seriously.
Yeah, right. And we had this thing in the kitchen where we've got after the home renovation, we had some new lines to the newer parts of the kitchen brought in, and we've got
water lines,
electric lines.
Okay.
So we've got a shared electric loop or something that ties into an outlet that's on top of our cabinets, but it also ties to the under cabinet lighting. So we put speakers on top of the above cabinets, thinking it's an always on outlet, but it's tied.
So that outlet is a switched outlet.
It's a switched outlet. So Venus has just been I want it always on, always on. Okay. And I gotten into the box, and there's tons of conduit in this one double outlet junction box. I gotten into it once.
Does that mean you got to beep it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So months and months and months ago, I disconnected it, and it's such a hodgepodge mess of wires in there that I couldn't quite, in the time I had, nail down where it was tied in. So I ended up just rewiring it back as it was to the switch, and we just accepted, well, it's switched and it is what it is. So I spent the bulk of my afternoon thinking, all right, I'm going to tackle this. I'll get this done. So I flipped the breakers. I'm in the box. I'm in and out of the house, breaker on, breaker off, trying to identify which. And in the end, it is somewhere in the wall. I isolated the line that ties to the outlet, except the line is somewhere in the wall. It's spliced to the conduit for the under cabinet lighting. So even when I isolated the outlet, I isolated the cabinet lighting. So, and I can't split the outlet from the cabinet lighting because wherever that's junctioned together, it's inside the wall. I can't get to that without taking off the wall tile. So that's the leaf blowing in. I'm like, fuck, is that a mouse?
That's
so boned. And I could probably get around that if I got in the attic and tried to drop a whole new line to the outlet.
Maybe.
But it's on a peak of the roof, and I don't even know if I can get over that far because the housing or the electrical wiring on that side of the house came up through the floor, and it comes to the side, or it's routed all along the 2x4s on the framing on the side of the house. So I can't get, and the wall that the kitchen cabinet stuff is like a half wall, so I can't get to it.
I don't think that they can splice two wires together. Maybe in the wall if it's inside of a cage.
I think it goes to the contractor that we had, which was more of that probably did it was more of a buddy and less of a, do it right.
Well, my point being is that has to be inspected, right? All that electrical has to be inspected before, because that's one of the things that you want to be correct.
I mean, I don't know if it's in right.
But my point being is that I personally would suspect that you have a line that goes into a plug somewhere where it's split from there up to also that outlet that's up there.
Possible. I suppose I could check the other outlets.
Are the cabinet lighting, are they plugged into a socket?
No.
What? Whoa.
Yeah. The under cabinet lighting are hard lines into that junction box.
But where does when the wire comes from the lighting to go into the wall, does it just disappear into the wall?
Into the wall.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the right way to do that.
Right. Yeah. So, what I ended up doing in the end was I, instead of wiring the outlet to a switch, I just wired it straight in, and I removed the lights. I removed the light bulbs to the under cabinet lighting. So now the outlet is always on. I just have no under cabinet lighting.
Oh shit!
Because I don't really care about that. But now it's on. Now my outlet's live all the time. So
Venus, happy or unhappy that the lighting's missing?
She wants to redo the under cabinet lighting anyway. She was never necessarily obviously post. She wasn't happy with the cabinet lighting anyway. So she has zero fucks of not having. So it's the temporary common workaround for an average household. If we had money and a contractor that could unfuck everything and we could retile, obviously that would be the best case scenario, or drop a whole new line. But, we didn't have the time, and it's not that much of a priority. When we could probably, in the end, get like a Bluetooth under cabinet IKEA solution that will then plug into an outlet that we can do discreetly.
That's where I was headed.
And we remove the other lighting, and we'll never know.
We have, I wanted under cabinet lighting, but something that literally disappears, like you don't see it.
Yeah.
And IKEA just makes awesome stuff for that, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Not that I care, but that's the benefit of IKEA is you're gonna get awesome stuff, and it's cheap. I think $30 or $40 for a 4-piece strip light. They're
an LED solution too.
They're about a foot apart, and you can connect all of them together, or they can be separated by wire. Right. And
multicolored, and blah blah blah.
And they have multicolored, and they have white. We just bought white ones.
Yeah.
And I just ran the wire to a plug that was in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And then it has a physical switch on the wire to turn them on and off. And I just mounted that under the cabinet, so you just reach under, click it on.
Ta-da.
Works great.
Yeah.
And we leave those on almost all the time. I've had them now for probably 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. The amount of times where I think sometimes those type of things seem silly to me. It's like, well, what are you needing? Your kitchen lights are on. What exactly are you getting from your under cabinet lighting?
It's a mood thing.
Yeah.
Because I've also
if it's just an ambiance and discreet type of thing, well, then, to me that's not a priority.
Right.
And obviously she hit that wall where it wasn't either. So we just they were CFLs.
Well, now that you have that switch, the thing up there, you can put lights up top.
Right. So I could redo the whole thing and put that as the plug and just be done with it.
Right.
Change the colors or something or whatever. Who knows? But anyway, so that's how I ended my weekend, kind of a thing. I was busy, hammered through a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's cool. I hate when stuff like that happens and you can't put a resolution to it that's what you intended.
Yeah.
Because that when it obviously it wasn't done right.
Right.
So that would bug me to no
end. And I had to tell her. I was just like, okay, so here we are. Right. I'm like, I'm at full understanding of what's going on here. This isn't like me still, spending an hour on this and not getting it.
Right.
I'm like, here's what it is. I went through each iteration of every conduit that comes into this box, after an hour and a half, an hour, like, I'm confident this single conduit goes to the outlet. The problem is it also goes to the under cabinet lighting.
Right.
Now, obviously, you can see one conduit here, so I can't see where this is spliced together. It's somewhere after where it comes into this junction box.
Somewhere in the wall.
Right, somewhere in the wall.
You got a couple of nuts just tied together.
Right, and I suppose, like you're saying, it could be junctioned in another box, but and I should check it. I'll check it. But the next outlet over is a GFI socket, and so is the next one to the right. So I would imagine those are on separate breakers.
It would have to be in the wall.
It would have to be in the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be junctioned and just tucked at the back end of one of those other GFI sockets, but that would seem weird to create a new line and junction those wires in a different box with no purpose.
Yeah, it seems like they did it janky, whichever way they did it.
I think so.
Ugh,
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Sad dad.
Sad dad.
That is a sad dad.
Well, like I said, you get through it. Not every housing thing is perfect, right? I think those are like the little nuances that you end up as a homeowner. It's kind of like, well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think, one episode or 2 episodes back, it was like, I don't do electrical. So it was like, get into it, It was
Some of that stuff is not that hard once you've gotten into it.
Right.
But designing, if I had to go from a remodel situation and do it myself, no.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Or like running a 220 line or no.
No. But simple house stuff. I'm like, I know breakers off. I'm going to get in here with the little pen.
Right.
I can do that.
Right.
So.
Well, at least you know now.
At least we know. It's good to know.
Yeah. So was that it for
that
the weekend?
That was my weekend in a nutshell for the most part.
Well, I did actually do one thing this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah.
Chandler Datas was out washing his car, and for 23 years that we've lived at our house, you turn the hose on. As long as the water's spraying, there is no noise. But as soon as you let the water stop, you get this squealing sound throughout the house. And then once it catches up, you get...
Really?
Oh, dude. And you can hear it in the entire house.
Do you have a back pressure ballast thing?
So the back pressure... It's a code thing, actually. You have to have back pressure relief valve
on the hose,
on
the faucet
hose bib.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Now the hose bib is the way it's designed. Is back in the day, the hose bib had the threads that the hose would connect to directly.
Right.
Not anymore.
Now there's a fitting.
Now that is a much finer thread, and that is meant for a back pressure relief valve to connect to, and on the other end of the back pressure relief valve has the hose bib connection.
Yes.
Well, in addition to that, the back pressure relief valve has a fucking screw in it that once they put it on there, they tighten the thing and it's meant to break off. So you cannot take it off. So that MRFer's been on our hose bib.
Faucet.
On the hose.
Yeah.
On the hose bib. It's been there for 23 years and it's making sounds every day that hose is used, and it's frustrating as hell.
Okay.
So I went and bought another one.
Okay.
And my idea was to get my Dremel out and to take a cutting wheel and cut a flathead groove into the broken off.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And try and turn it out.
Okay.
To get the thing out. Well, that didn't work.
Oh.
Because it's been 23 years.
Right.
So it's got a bunch of corrosion, blah, blah, blah. So I got a pair of channel locks, and I just kept cranking that thing until it finally came off. And yes, it jacked up the threads on the hose bib.
Yeah.
Now, if it was not able to be used, I would have to get a plumber there to take the old one off and put a new one on.
Right.
But the new one just threaded right back on.
Oh.
I cranked it down and never put the little set screw in it, but cranked it down with the channel lock so it was real nice and tight. And you can turn the water on and run it, and it doesn't make any sound now. It only took me 23 years.
23. Longest.
Now I got to do the backyard.
Longest fix ever.
Yeah.
I think I remember having one of those fittings in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
and I could never figure out what it was for. And I think one year I bought a new hose. I'm like, this is the dumbest. I don't understand what the fuck this thing is here for. I know it's on the front. It's on the front one here, and the same kind of thing.
This one would squeal like that, and when you turn the water off,
yeah,
it would let the water come out of the hose, so it would just spray all over the place.
Yeah.
This one no longer does that.
Well, there you go.
So
now your house is quiet.
Now it's quiet.
When you do the hose.
Data's pretty much washes his car about every day.
He's gonna have to do it now because of the acid rain.
I know. But yeah, that was finally.
Yay!
So yeah, mostly sick. Jim did that on Saturday. Yeah.
So I know you were sick. So I have my news story. It's a good feels story.
Okay.
So it was a bus driver is honored for helping a homeless passenger and finding him a place to stay. So the story was that in Wisconsin, this lady bus driver was on her route, and a gentleman got on her bus at a stop, essentially had no money for a fare, and he told her his story that he had been living in a condemned house, but he had essentially been vacated. Like, you have to get out by the authorities, and he had no place to stay and no food. So she let him on the bus and had stopped somewhere and got him food and allowed him to ride on the bus out of the weather so that he could have something to eat. And then she took him to a shelter, like completely just on the side,
right?
So that he had somewhere to stay.
Well, that's nice of her.
I know, it's so nice.
People are good.
There are good people. There's still good people.
There are, actually. I mean, yeah, I mean, I was watching Walking Dead for the last 3 days.
Right.
And
Zombies are not good people.
Not only are zombies not good people, but the other people that are part of that show are not really that good of people either.
I have not gotten into that one. Is it worth it? Is it a good show?
It's jumped the shark a little bit a couple times over the years because it's now. I just finished season 8, and I think they're doing a season 9. I think it's the last season.
Oh, okay.
But the way that they've come back from the shark jumping, I think they.
I'll just say this: if you're a listener, send us some reasons why I should check out Walking Dead, and I'll check in with you next week.
Yeah, I think that they do a pretty good job of depicting this post like end of the world scenario.
Oh, okay.
And how things could really fucking go sideways.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job of portraying that.
Yeah.
And you don't understand fully why people think the way they think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it has to do with just survival. I think that's part of the show is people's survival instincts makes people do weird shit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the show.
Did you watch that show? I don't remember how many seasons it had. Maybe 2 or 3. It was on NBC. It was Revolution.
Oh,
and it was.
I don't think I saw that.
It was. I can't remember. Like, all the power in the world went out. Something happened, like a computer thing. I think it ended up being like a virus or something like that. And all the power dropped off the face of the planet, kind of thing. So everyone was relegated back to, like Old West. There was no technology,
right.
no power.
Right.
I love those kinds of shows where like you have to wind back the clock, kind of thing. I like the post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
And I thought they did
you
that.
Would like that then.
I think they did that well. Like they, and I think towards the tail end of the series, they started like the how to fix the power started to become like a jump the shark thing, and I think it ended like short of however they were going to finish actually telling how the story ended. But it seemed like it was reasonably good characters, and a well-told story towards maybe 80% of it, and then it just kind of like it started to get a little hokey. But post-apocalyptic, and it was, when you can't lean on computers and zoom, enhance kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, tell me about your, you're doing more storytelling and actor talent, I think, than when you can leverage technology.
See, that's where I think this is sort of like a way to show how people react in power grabs and things like that would happen, like post-apocalyptic, when suddenly there is no police, there's no power, there's nothing, and everybody that you know is dead or dying, and you're looking to survive, and you end up taking people in with you and are trying to protect those people. And that's sort of, I think that they sort of miss the point sometimes on what you're talking about, where they instead of fighting one another, which they got really caught up in, trying to figure out how to redo some of the technology,
right,
and scavenge in places where they know they could get some of this sort of stuff and gear, because there were places that had solar panels. They could get electricity. It's not like that was impossible to get. So there were things that they focused on more than others, but still a pretty good representation of how I think shit would probably
how society would pull together or
fight each other or
react to
Yeah.
When you strip everything away and everyone almost gets a chance to rewrite their identity.
Exactly.
What kind of person are you? What movie was that? The Kevin Costner one, The Postman.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Similar.
Okay.
Like post-apocalyptic. I think no, spoiler warning. I think the bad guy was like a copy machine repairman that like found an opportunity to essentially reinvent himself and became the big bad of the movie.
Wow.
Like, yeah, those types of.
Yeah, I think you would like it.
Waterworld, that's another Costner one, post-apocalyptic.
The best to me are the like first minutes, days, hours, right when it happened, and where everything sort of gets set in motion. That's for me the most exciting part of the show. Sort of like with what was that show where they were on the plane and they crashed, but they were
Lost. Yes.
That first season was the best.
Yes.
And then after that, they really.
So Lost. I was one of those people. Lost. Like I would get after the episode, me and a couple friends would be theory crafting.
Oh yeah.
Like this is da-da-da. And then they had somewhere mid-run some sort of summer thing where it was like an augmented online thing that added to the Lost universe. And it was like one of those, it was like, oh man, I ate that shit up every week. And then we would get together and have our own Lost theories about, what's actually going on here. And I will be totally honest, the last season and the ending, shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
that
frustrated.
Show pissed me off.
Yeah. And Venus just walked in and she will tell you that I had such high expectations and I had better ideas of what the whole thing meant. And it was just and
they just took the easy way out.
They did. Those I'm like, fuckers. Oh man, I was so disappointed.
I always feel like they had no clue. Writing the show, they had no clue what they were doing the entire time.
I think they certainly probably got there. To me, I don't remember the season, but it was I think they got to a certain point to where.
2?
Yeah, I think they got to a certain maybe 5 or 6 or so where they.
The first 5 seasons were good.
Yeah, I think they got to a point to where they hadn't been canceled, but yet they had run out of. This was our timeline.
We already blew our load.
Yeah,
we don't have any more ideas.
And I think when you're running a show or writing for a show, you're under such a crunch that they ran out of buffer to come up with a way to write the second half of the series with as much integrity and coherence that they wrote and had ideas for the first half of the series.
Right.
And so it was just like, there was such a mystery with the island and all of the crazy shit that was going on. It was like, towards the last half of the season, you were buried in like character pieces. It's like, I've already seen enough of what I need to know about the original inhabitants. Like, I don't need any more character backstory. You've got all the survivors.
How do you write something into the story that early, like something like the smoke monster?
God.
The polar bear.
That sounds like a bunch of interlinking things.
Yeah.
And it has smoke, but then not fucking explain it at any point.
At any point. Oh, man.
I mean, shit like that just drives me crazy.
Nuts.
I mean, the smoke.
I think the last, oh my God, I had was like the Desmond episodes where it was like, oh yeah, because Desmond never made sense. Like, how is Desmond tied to this whole thing? And then they explained it. I was kind of like, I don't get it. Okay, but what about? I'm like, and then it was like I'm watching it hoping that there was going to be some sort of revelation to turn it around, and there wasn't. I was so upset.
Yeah, that show pissed me off too.
So upset.
I think we're not alone in that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were pissed off by the Lost.
Pretty upset.
But I think, if you get a chance, you should check it out. It's The Walking Dead is pretty
I think
good
Brett,
show.
my brother.
Did you watch it?
No,
Yes?
she wouldn't watch it because of the gruesome stuff.
It is very gruesome.
Like that.
And in fact, Data's and I have a thing where we do a shring. We use our hand like it's a knife and go shring, and you like cross it on someone's neck, or their stomach, and then like all their guts come out and it goes. That's the sound it would make.
Yeah,
that's the sound it makes on the show, which is fucking awesome. I love that. So anyway,
I think nowadays it's like you have so many choices for good content.
Yeah,
it's like and the way we do things now, it's almost like you binge watch a series now. So it's like if it's not going to be really good, it's like I don't know. I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm work, and I have my existing hobbies. It's like I don't necessarily want to waste any of my time on a meh TV series.
Yeah,
it's like
Manifest has the same, could be good.
What's that?
Could be a loss.
What
Get in
is?
there.
Manifest.
Oh, manifest.
Manifest?
Yeah, just walk up to the mic, dear.
No, I don't want to. It says manifest, and I've seen enough of it
All right.
to think it could be lost-ish.
She's saying manifest.
Is this Netflix-ish?
NBC.
No, I don't remember who it's on. No, it's just regular TV.
Oh,
I just finished. I binged the Daredevil.
I need to watch that.
What is probably the last season of Daredevil?
Isn't it 3?
It's on. Yeah, 3.
So
Wait.
I watched 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah.
1 and
Really
2 had the bald guy, the white bald guy.
Yeah, Fisk.
Yeah, Fisk.
Kingpin.
Yeah. And then that's the next season, which is out right now, which is 3.
Kingpin. Yeah.
Okay. So I have to watch that too.
Really good.
Okay.
Really good. And most likely all of those that's it. That's the end.
No.
Because Venus was telling me because they pulled Iron Fist and they pulled Luke Cage. They haven't mentioned what they're Jessica.
For another show or something?
No, they pulled it. They ended the contract, and most likely that's because Disney is coming out with Disney Plus, and Disney obviously owns Marvel, so they wouldn't be able to probably get through production before Disney goes live with their streaming service, and it wouldn't necessarily make sense if Disney owns Marvel. Why would you not just online or greenlight a reboot or a continuation on your own platform?
Disney Plus, subscribe or not?
I will if they have these if they roll over these.
Okay.
I mean, if that's and the Disney, they're getting the.
I mean, I would rather have my Disney shit mixed into my Netflix stuff or Prime or whatever, but I get.
Oh, you weren't gonna get that.
Oh, I know why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, they own that shit.
Oh, I
so
know.
you're gonna get the Disney Plus has Tom Hiddleston doing a Loki series on Disney Plus, and I think they're doing Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow in a series on Disney Plus. So you're gonna get Marvel Black Widow, Marvel Loki. And since you know that, I think people are doing like it just makes sense, Occam's razor kind of thing. Why you pull Luke Cage. He got his second season and he's done. So rather than renew it for Netflix to then say, oh, actually, here. That doesn't necessarily mean they will do it, but it makes sense that you would just say, you have a running production. If you want to do it, here it is on Disney Plus.
Right.
And so you pull Luke Cage, you pull Iron Fist. I don't know. Iron Fist was just kind of meh for me.
I'm not familiar with it. Is it coming out of a comic book or is it?
Yeah, it's all. They're all part of the Defenders as far as Marvel the comic books go. So your Iron Fist, your Luke Cage, your Jessica Jones, and Daredevil. We're all part of like a Defender squad.
Okay.
So you could conceivably pull, now that they're all, I don't know what Jessica Jones's status is, but you'd have 4 shows almost, they're baked with a potential audience base already, and just re-online those with your other Marvel stuff, all under Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I think Daredevil by far was the best Marvel series that Netflix was cranking out. Luke Cage wasn't bad. Jessica Jones is probably...
I liked it.
Jessica Jones was probably my number 2. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
I'm not a big Marvel guy, but I like Daredevil. Absolutely.
Yeah, they did a really good job. I was impressed from them season 1, like right out the gate.
Yeah.
Like really good.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. What else do we have on deck?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Are you behind any Thanksgiving cookings?
My wife is doing some desserts.
Desserts?
But my understanding this year is that we are not doing traditional Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah?
We are doing...
Chinese food?
No.
No.
We're doing sushi. No, I'm kidding.
No.
We are doing a barbecue from a place in Lincoln.
Is it turkey-based?
No. It's...
I like barbecue, though.
They have these family meals where you get brisket and ribs and...
How does that work with...
pork and...
Melly and Shan?
Well, they have their own shit. They'll have their own shit regardless.
Oh.
So
the non-meat sources are bringing their own, and everyone else gets this barbecue place.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm not even doing a turkey.
Is it good barbecue?
Yes, it's very good, actually. I would recommend
What's the place?
I have to look it up. I don't recall the name.
For Shan. But good enough to outsource your Thanksgiving dinner.
My mother-in-law loved it. We went there for my brother-in-law's birthday.
Yeah.
And they loved it. Loved it. That's why they're doing it.
Mm.
So we're having Thanksgiving at their house, and it's going to be barbecue. They're getting a big family platter.
Yeah.
So let me look up the name.
No turkey sandwiches?
I know.
You could just get like a drum leg or something from Safeway or Rayleigh's on Friday. Smoke it, and then you have turkey sandwiches. We're doing Thanksgiving at my dad's because I didn't know my work status. I have PTO Friday, but when I cook Thanksgiving, I have to take the week off leading into it because I do so much food prep that I just can't handle it if I have to work at the same time. So my dad is hosting us this year.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I have to bring an ambrosia salad, so I'm going to put a little twist on it instead of filling it with Cool Whip. What is it?
It's called Double Barrel Smokehouse.
Double Barrel Smokehouse.
And it's in that same building where in Lincoln where they have the Old Town Pizza.
I don't know where that is. Is it by all the portals?
You know where Awful Annie's is?
Yes.
On that corner. That's that same building. But, but if you come back to like half the building, you go inside, there's stairs. It's upstairs.
So do they compete with Beerman's?
Beerman's is gone.
And it's not in the Beerman's?
Apparently they're moving into the Beerman's building.
Oh.
By the beginning, maybe like January, February, something like that.
That place, I thought it was like rebooted a couple times.
It did. It did.
It came and then it
came and went
down and then came again.
Yeah, and I think the beer people have done something different. Mm-hmm. But it's not Beerman's anymore. They're taking up half of the Beerman's place apparently.
Yeah.
And someone is going to take the other half.
That's a shame because the couple times that I ate when it was, I think the second iteration of Beerman's. I'm not quite sure, but it was good food.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't anything spectacular either. I'm not sure I would have paid the prices again, but maybe that I don't know what the problem was for the first or second going out.
I remember it being okay for us, but
it always seemed to struggle with staying.
You never
up.
knew if they were around, if they were open or not. So, but this place is the guy that owns it is from Texas.
Oh,
so he's doing his own Texas barbecue. It's good food.
I'll have to try it then.
Very, very tasty.
I'll have to try it.
That's what we did when we were there was the family style thing, which was like a big platter with all the different meats and like sausage and different stuff. And there's like mac and cheese and coleslaw and potato salad. And then Shanna, who's vegetarian, she had their vegetarian burger, and she said it was awesome.
Was it like a custom in-house vegetarian schmitz or like a?
I'm not sure.
Better meat. What's the Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat? No, yeah. I don't think it was Beyond Meat. I think it was like some kind of nut patty or something.
How many people are? So you're eating at your in-laws' house with outsourced. How many people?
Not
your in-laws.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to think.
Oh.
So it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 or 10 of us.
Data's and Ashley?
Yeah.
Does Ashley's side come to your?
No, just Ashley.
So does her side not have?
She might come later. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is for tomorrow specifically, but sometimes there's some jockeying.
We're still waiting on my side. Like, what time?
Oh, really?
Because I've got, since I'm not cooking a turkey, I bought turkey parts, but that was because I'm going to smoke it. Because who knows how?
Smoke the whole turkey?
I don't have no. I just bought like a breast carcass, which is probably a crude way of calling it, and then a couple drumsticks because Piper and Venus like the darker meat. So I'll brine and smoke those small parts, and I'll smoke them probably Friday. Because I'm behind the 8 ball, I ran out of time to smoke them to take them as like smoked meat party platter kind of thing, like hors d'oeuvre things. Yeah. Normally I would do that, but this year I was behind, so I'll brine them tonight, and then let them sit. Brine most of it. I'll take them out of the thing tomorrow morning before we leave for Dad's. But so I'll smoke that, and then we'll have turkey meat for sandwiches Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and whatever we pull from Dad's left over, we'll use that too. But then. So not a whole turkey. If I was hosting, I would smoke. And I've done that a number of times where I smoke a small sized turkey, like just for hors d'oeuvres and just for sandwich meat for when everyone leaves. And then I cook a turkey that is the main.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, we have Normally, Rods will cook a turkey, Shan's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, he did his turkey. He didn't buy as big a turkey because he knew I was going to smoke one.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought I want to say it was maybe 8 or 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I smoked it whole in the smoker.
Right.
And that went over really well, I thought.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to do the same
and
thing this year.
those are great.
Yeah.
And I've used, years and years past, because I've always had a fairly large size smoker, but I've used at as backup, like when the turkey in the oven wasn't cooking fast enough, because my dad gets these huge birds.
Yeah.
Huge birds. Not cooking fast enough, but my sides, like when I was still learning to try and get everything to the table at the same time.
Which is really hard.
It is. Yes, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I have used a smoked turkey that I'd been essentially keeping at temperature in the smoker as a gap. Like, we'll start plating, and I take out the smoked turkey, cut up the breast, cut up a leg, a side of it, and put that on the plate for people to start plating and get going.
Yeah.
While a half an hour, 40 minutes later, I'll pull the oven one out. And if there's some reason why that people are still needing meat, then I can cut into that one.
Yeah.
And then that allowed us to have plenty of leftovers for everyone to take home.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no turkey this year. I might have to just go buy a cup, like turkey breast or something, and just smoke it.
It'd be hard to not have sandwich meat. I love that part of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Honey wheat berry, mayo for me, turkey, nice chunk turkey.
Bacon.
No.
Dude. Smoke some bacon and then put your bacon on your turkey sandwich. I'm telling you.
Cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Cheese. Swiss cheese. And I'm good. But bacon, I'm sure, would
good.
be. I wouldn't complain about
Turkey bacon. Turkey bacon sandwich.
Turkey bacon.
Turkey and bacon.
No, I'm not gonna complain about having bacon on my sandwich, but that's not typically how it's ever been.
Fake bacon.
Ew.
Yeah. You put cranberry sauce on your sandwiches?
Yeah, I do on my turkey sandwiches.
Do you?
Yeah, and it has to be the chunky kind, not the smooth. The smooth cranberry sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be the chunky, where it has like whole cranberries.
Whole cranberries in there.
Yeah, I love that. Do you do that?
No.
You don't like that? Really?
I can't. It's not my
Venus
will eat the Togos, the cranberry turkey. Too much.
I never would have. And then
if there's gravy left over, I will do a gravy.
Oh no.
But the cranberries, not for me.
Shanna got me hooked on this sandwich, and just the combination of flavors in this sandwich.
I may try it if we have the not the
just make
gelatin
it like a little
can.
And Swiss cheese. It has to be the good, like clumpy or whole cranberries.
Yeah.
And like, don't be generous with the mayo. You get a nice creaminess off the mayo.
Yeah.
And nice chunky.
Big chunks.
Big chunks, not thin slice or whatever. I love the chunk of the turkey itself.
Yeah.
On a honey wheat berry bread. Love that.
All right.
That's my favorite. In fact, I think we used to make those back in the day. We had those at the Pizzeria Classico, or River City Pizza before it was Pizzeria Classico.
Really?
Yeah. They actually had them on the menu.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like post Thanksgiving or all the day?
They had them all the time.
All the time?
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're not doing the turkey. We're supposed to do the regular turkey at Christmas time.
No, well, there you go. Turkey and ham.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big ham person.
Me neither.
Unless it's honey baked and they put too much crap on it, too much honey.
Yeah.
But ham in general.
I don't like to get smothered in glaze. I would rather have like the smoked ham.
A smoked ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a ham person in general.
Yeah.
I'll pass on the ham.
Pass ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know when our day starts tomorrow. We're waiting on that. That's why we're hoping.
It's getting late.
I know, it is. I got to start getting all the rest of this stuff ready. I got to smoke my Cheez-Its, smoke my bacon, smoke something else. Cheez-Its, bacon. Oh, and I have to make my ambrosia salad.
Oh, you going to smoke that?
If I could find, I may smoke the coconut, bitch.
I hate coconut. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we did. Our almond joy.
Ugh.
I'll put some smoked coconut in there, and I'll send you a tweet. Hey,
a tweet's fine.
Yeah, check this out.
As long as physical coconut doesn't show up.
Yeah.
There's a couple times coconut's okay.
Yeah.
And if it's toasted on top of something, that's all right. But if it's like gelatinous,
no
almond
thanks.
joy, disgust, no.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here.
Dang.
Say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
If you're listening, I hope you're with some friends or family or an infant. Reach out to someone, because I'm sure there's a warm wish to everyone having a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, hook up a Friendsgiving if you can.
Yes, yeah. I
mean, some people don't like that word, but that's okay.
I think we're in a place now where I enjoy it. We've done that a couple of years. I don't think we have one scheduled this year, but it's always good to get together with family. Everyone's got to be thankful for something, even if it's just a friend.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
If you don't have some place to go, reach out to someone and make a place.
Reach out and touch someone.
So, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.